going to skip over how the last 5 seconds went because no one needs to hear that over and over again. But Denver loses their second game in a row. The Chiefs continue their bullshit voodoo magic. 16-14 the final. An absolute heartbreaking finish for Denver. And my initial reaction to watching the last 5-6 seconds of that game was, that was supposed to be Bo Nix coming out moment, right? That was supposed to be your rookie quarterback gets an incredible statement win and gets kind of put on the map a little bit. And unfortunately, he was robbed of that. Like, Nix had an incredible game. He played better than Patrick Mahomes in his own house. 22 for 30, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, an awesome 3rd and 6 conversion to Courtland Sutton to get them into comfortable field goal range, which we know what happened next. And Patrick Mahomes once again ran into a gauntlet that is the Denver Broncos defense. His last 2 times playing against the Broncos, it has not been as pleasant as the first 15 were. So it's at least nice to see that the Broncos have dramatically closed the gap. And for a long time, what was a gimme 2 wins for Kansas City is now going to be looked at differently. But I don't know if you guys are in the same camp as I am, which is I'm not in the camp of moral victories. Like, yeah, I know they lost, but they looked good. And man, only that kick is not blocked. They would have walked away with their 6th win of the season and give Kansas City their first loss of the year. That's preseason shit to me. Like, this is going to sting. This is going to be a really tough loss to get past. However, the Broncos started the year off 0-2, and they bounced back by winning 2 on the road. So clearly this is a locker room that doesn't just throw in the towel. They could have earlier on this year. And 2 straight losses now to Baltimore and Kansas City. But what a dramatic turnaround from the way they played against Baltimore last week versus in Kansas City this week. But despite what was a game full of some really good moments, mostly for the Broncos defense, but also the Broncos offense, it has to be said, they got shut out in the second half, and that was the difference maker in this game. The defense played their asses off. The defense did everything they could to win this game, and then some. I mean, if I tell you before the game that the Chiefs are going to score 16 points, you got to feel pretty good about the Broncos winning this matchup. So to me, this was a game where 100% of, I wouldn't just say the blame, but focus has to be on Sean Payton and the offense and the play calling in the second half. Because the defense is not the one you're going to look at here as, hey, where's the problem child in a 16-14 loss in Kansas City? No, it's not the unit that held Patrick Mahomes to 1 touchdown pass. It's unfortunately the offense, which did have some really good moments. And I would say, like, looking just at a box score glimpse at it, looked pretty solid. 22 for 30, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. But ultimately, the inability to score in the second half, despite getting, to a spot where you would think a 35-yard field goal would be a chip shot and a gimme, but Leo Chenal blocks, and here we are now with a frown on our face instead of a smile, is the difference maker. So Sean Payton, I don't think this is a game where someone gets on the hot seat or you really start pointing fingers and jumping down people's throats. They had a 99% chance of winning. Of course, the Chiefs get the 1% chance. That's just the way the football gods work recently. Like, the Chiefs make a lot of their own luck, and then they certainly just seem to be on the receiving end of a lot of good, lucky bounces as well. Courtland Sutton, he had an awesome game, I thought. 6 grabs, 70 yards, a touchdown to put Denver up 14-3. I mean, 14-3, and you can see how the rest of the scoring goes. And it's not on the defense. The defense did everything they could to keep this game in, reach for the Broncos and keep them ahead. And then when Kansas City did pull ahead late in the game, Broncos offense moves the ball down the field. Javonte Williams was a no-show. I mean, he just got benched, right? We can look at the rushing stats here, but Audric Estime, the rookie out of Notre Dame, he led the team in carries. This was a change-up in the backfield. 14 carries, 53 yards, both team highs for the Broncos. It's just a loss that no one really wants to... Actually, I'll back it up and say this. For anyone watching right now, you deserve a Purple Heart. And this, me as a fan versus me as a content creator, I would not want to see anything on social media. I'd go to the Stone Age right now, if I were you, to avoid seeing anything after that crushing of a loss. There's no way I'm doing homework tonight from high school. You just tell your teacher, you see the Broncos game? Fuck that, I'm not doing homework. I cry myself to sleep. Tears on my pillows. Bailey, by the way, he continues to be probably the second best receiver, third best receiver, right there with Lil Jordan Humphrey, Josh Reynolds, but he had 4 grabs, 39 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, Denver made the plays they had to make to win this game. They had a 99% chance of winning it. I mean, what team would not pick to be in the Broncos' shoes with a 35-yard field goal attempt and 1 second remaining? Every team in the history of football would want to be in Denver's position right there. They unfortunately just play the Chiefs and the football gods. It's not even the refs, right? It's just a bigger being that continues to bail out the Chiefs. I'm sick and tired of it. We'll talk more about this game. I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Game Time. Game Time has an awesome feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. If you want to go catch a Broncos game, a Nuggets game, an Avalanche game, download Game Time today and use code CHATSPORTS, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. I put all that information, because I love you guys, in the comments and description of today's video. One of the coolest features about Game Time is you can get a bird's eye view of your seat. That way you know exactly what you're spending your hard-earned money on. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So looking ahead here, I hope that the rest of the football world wakes up a little bit and realizes, while this might be a 5-5 Broncos team, they're not a team any team wants to play, unless you're the Ravens in Week 9. That's like the one exception outside of the Seahawks in Week 1 with Bo Nix making his NFL debut. They have given everyone a big fight, and a long one too, every single week outside of Week 9. That's their one. We just didn't bring it today. Which makes me, positive and confident that this loss is not going to stew for so long or too long. But this is a loss that can really define a locker room. Like, this is a loss where those guys are going to have to find out what they're made of. Do they want to let this loss just manifest in their head of what could have been? We're the team that should have beat the Chiefs, should have been 6-4, instead of sitting at 5-5. That's going to be a question that gets answered probably as soon as this upcoming Sunday. The Atlanta Falcons are coming to town. That's a good Falcons ball club. They're 6-4. They're coming off a bad loss in New Orleans to the Saints. So both teams are going to be very hungry for a win. There's no question about it. I do want to give some of the love and some roses to the defense. Patrick Mahomes, he's not his usual self this year. If you just go blind resume here, 28 for 42, 266 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. He had a missed opportunity with Kelsey in the second half, but, for the most part, this Broncos defense was all over him. Jonathan Cooper got a sack. Zach Allen got a sack. First game without Baron Browning, and this pass rush doesn't really let up too much at all. The secondary did their job. The defense did their job. The defense played a hell of a game. Patrick Surtain, after the game, said it himself, this is going to be a tough one to move past. I'm not going to lie. The defense, for 60 minutes, gave it their all and played maybe the best game of the year, given the competition on the other side. Just like single game performances, 16 points in Kansas City. It's not going to get probably much better than that for the rest of the season. And there's not even someone I want to blame. I know the easy point to finger is probably going to go to Sean Payton. And I get it. You don't score in the second half. The play calling was, shoddy as the game kind of went along. And I hear that. But they executed. They made the plays they had to make to get themselves in 35-yard field goal range. Fuck you, Leo Chenal. That's the story. That's just an incredibly unlucky break. It's like if you lose on a Hail Mary, do you walk away from that game feeling like we need to do some major soul searching? Or is it, we lost on a Hail Mary. We played a good enough game for 59 minutes and 59 seconds. It's just that last play defined us. I hope this last play doesn't define the Broncos. I think they are a good ball club. I don't think at 5-5 it's an accurate reflection. In some ways it kind of is, because 500 somewhat sums up the way the Broncos have played, right? Not just today, but some weeks they look really good, some weeks not so good. It's hard to figure out what this Broncos team is really made of. I still think they're going to be right there going down to Week 18, fighting for a playoff spot. And it would be awesome for Bo Nix to get a playoff appearance in his rookie season, just to kind of get his development to fast-tracked a little bit more. But this was a game where you just wanted to see Bo really have a huge statement victory, be the talk of all sports talk radio on Monday. The Chiefs lost their first game of the season to the Denver Broncos, which would make Broncos fans elated. And it's Bo Nix's first win against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Those are just two stats and nuggets that we all crave for Monday. Didn't happen. Got to bounce back. That's really all I can leave you guys with here. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in and for watching our post-game video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you guys informed and entertained throughout this upcoming week as they get ready for Week 11 home against the Atlanta Falcons. Broncos fall to 5-5. Chiefs improve to 9-0. If there is one sliver of good news here is this Chiefs team is not winning the Super Bowl. They're just not. They can't. It's almost good in a way that they're winning so much in the regular season, because last year was kind of the opposite, right? There's a shaky regular season, and then once the postseason came around, they turned it on. This year is the year of, hey, maybe they don't learn their mistakes in the regular season, and that comes to haunt them in the postseason. They're just not the best team in the NFL. They're the worst 9-0 team probably since the 2020 Steelers. They're bottom 5 in the history of 9-0 teams. I'll say that. All right. Try to enjoy. You're not going to enjoy the rest of your Sunday, so I won't even try and say that. I'll see you guys tomorrow.